How would
Yes.
you like to see people honor Indigenous people on this day? Like, is there anything that, because there's some people who may mean well, but they don't know, what they need to think about or do, or is there anything to do or to even learn?
I think it's important to try to learn about Native people in your area because there are
Mhm.
507 or 67 tribes throughout the country. So just
Mhm.
do a little research, find something, find a documentary or find work, watch pray, have a pray watch party.
Yes.
There's so many different things. I think we have a new appreciation for the for language because just to hear it in Comanche and you're like, oh, I can't speak Comanche, what does that sound like? But when you hear it, you totally get it. It's like
Mhm.
watching just a really pure form of the film,
Mhm.
because it is in the native language, in the native tongue. So I think that's really important. I think, just honoring Native people is great. Try to support any Native nonprofits in your area, Native filmmakers, because, I spent a lot of years working on Native films and, we're the mini micro budget films.
Right.
Yeah.
Even when I worked on something before for a big, um, not profit, for a big PBS,
Mhm.
thing, they still didn't give us the budget that they would, give other people, and
Right.
somehow we made a beautiful quality film. So
Wow.
I think that's really important because now is a really good time, for Native people. A friend of mine, Suzanne Harjo, always says Hollywood discovers Indians every 25 years. And it seems like there is a big boom right now, right?
Mhm.
Because you have reservation dogs, you had Rutherford
Mhm.
Falls, you
Yep.
have Prey, you're going to
Mhm.
have Marvel coming out with Echo. You're going to have all of
Yep.
these amazing culturally based films and
Mhm.
correct culturally,
Right.
so,
Yeah.
it is a good time, but I think the difference is that we have people that can fill those positions because it's one thing to sit there and have the wish mentality. And I wish they would get it right. I wish they used a native actor. I wish they, had the costuming, right. I wish, you can wish that, but then like, okay, so that wish is probably not going to come true. But at some
Mhm.
point, we have to
Mhm.
step up and get in there and be hands on and go, this is how it should look. This
Right.
is what, this is what
Yeah.
should be done. And this
Right.
is, you know,
Right. This film, inspired us to create a new Indigenous film category in the Atlanta Sci-fi Film Festival. I think I,
oh, yay.
yeah. And I really wanted to provide a platform for Indigenous filmmakers and to create stories within science fiction genre where they can celebrate the culture and explore their future and educate us on their past too, such as, like in this film. Since the film's release in August, what is it, 5th, I think, it's been a huge success, a breakout success. But do you think the success of this film, will inspire interest in creating and green lighting, more importantly, more films either starring, featuring, or about Native Americans and in Native language too?
I definitely think so because I encourage people to use native language because a lot of times, our native culture is what makes the story, right? And they have
Mm-hmm.
non-native writers or people writing this and in this tribe and they do this. Well, if you're going to, depend on the culture that much, then you need to go the full distance and you need to add that native language because that just helps preserve languages within the different tribes in the country. But I think that this film really shifted a lot of shifted that Hollywood paradigm because I have pitched a lot of projects to different studios, and they're like, "Well, we don't know who this appeals to. Natives. We don't know who would like this." And this story, I mean, this is a sci-fi with native people in it, and
Yep.
not just native people like it, but everybody likes it. And it, rebooted the franchise. It's just as popular as the very first
Yes.
one. And everybody's just like, it outperformed what we even thought it would. I knew the script was good, and when we went up to make it, we
Mm-hmm.
had a very small creative team. None of the executives could come visit. It's just us stuck. We made a little family in Canada, and we wanted to make the best film possible. And sometimes, you don't really get that full creativity, but this time we did, and it was really truly amazing. And like I said, can't say enough about Dan Trachtenberg. He's brilliant,
Yes.
and we were just able to really flex and put things in there that you haven't seen in other films, like we said the toothbrush earlier. But no, I think this is great because sometimes when your own people, when you're a minority, especially Native people, they can be big critics, right? Because they want to see everything, they want to see everything, correct and Native people have really embraced this, and it's something positive because you never see Native people win, especially if you're a Comanche.
Yep. Exactly.
Comanches are all the villains. We're going to burn places down. We're going to steal people. We're going to steal horses. Yeah, we're always the villains or the sidekick. But this time you see them as real people. You see an interaction between a brother and sister. Do brother and sister always get along? No. So people can really identify, because it's not like a big muscle bound, person that I will never be, and I don't know if any of you would ever be, but you can identify with Nadu, who's trying to find herself and who's trying to, she just wants to hunt and she wants to solidify herself as an equal, and then her brother, and then you see the ambitious son of the war chief who thinks he's just automatically going to get it. So, it has all of these things that people either know people like that, or people have been people like that, or people can identify. And it's, I think it just came, at a really good time.
Right.
I'm a solar gypsy.